Another Sri Lankan here. Season 3. Into his mid-30s these days. Remember him in the ICC World T20 back in 07 in the Rainbow Nation. So we've got Taranga underway straight away, and Johnson Charles, who's now going to be on strike. Yeah, I remember, just to take that up as well, Dino, with Chameera bowling in New Zealand and Hamilton on the quickest surface. A few of the Kiwis in the spot of bother too with that pace. Good take from Stirling, because that was travelling some.
I love the long run up. I really do. The Michael Holdings and these guys. Big Merv Hughes used to have a long run up. Michael Holding was just amazing watching him coming into bowl. Not to you, when you're bowling to you personally, it wasn't great. But watching him bowl was brilliant. LB4 gave him some Bahinta with, and that's enough for these guys of today. Hits it away for another boundary.
That's what the skipper was trying to do. But that one bounced a bit more against Hashim Amla. This was a little bit fuller and allowed Charles to play that sort of stroke. Met it. Yeah, the other one went a little bit finer than that, off Amla to Stirling. Delightful. Johnson Charles. Wicket and 5 off. 1 to go here. Oh, help yourself. Loving this. Ruins the over somewhat, because back-to-back fours means it's 21 for 1 here. There's that lovely little bounce on the surface, but if you're a little too wide, and he's up against the left-hander of Taranga, not the right-handers here, and third man fine legger up inside the circle.
Now, Danny, you bowled a lot of heat in your day. There's a lot of force already hit down a third man that we've seen in 2 days. So are we misreading the conditions? Should we have a third man?
I think on this surface today, yeah, I concur with you, because it has appearances of being a bit more pacey. A great line, that. Yeah, as easy as you like. So straight a little bit on both sides of the wicket here is David Willey. He's disappeared for 20 and 1.2. I'll carry on, Dean Jones, then. Busy fellow. Taranga, oh, look at that, striking at 300 already. The nice dabs and a flick. Thinking a 2, it's not there.
It's a good start here for the Tuskers. And again, from what we've seen already, Taranga like to hit it using the bowler's pace. Down to third man, down to fine leg. Not hitting a lot of balls in front. Charles, on the other hand, with his body and the way he sets up, he likes to hit the ball downtown. So, different styles of hitters. But this is a good start here for the Tuskers. Already 30. We still haven't finished the power play. Will he look to go straight?
Spliced, Mr. Willey, if you please. Nice little C and B. Changed it up, banged it in, And it's the end of Johnson Charles.
Pretty good bowling by Willey, because he knows his strength is hit at downtown, so he's tried to get upstairs up near his throat. So he's cramped him up and bowled it over leg stump. Let's look at this here. It's short, really cramped him up, and he's a bit late on it. It's almost hit the stickers of the bat, and you don't drop them off your own bowling, Danny. Well, you used to, but David Willey doesn't. So the dangerous Johnson Charles goes for 13. The Tuskers lose the second. It's 30 for 2.
I'm not afraid to die, and I'm not afraid to kill you.
The batsman is the shocking bowler for Karnataka Tuskers.
Yeah, Shafiq's out there, keeper. Another player from Nepal. Sorry, I beg your pardon, Afghanistan. Very excited with all these Nepalese turning up. So, Afghanistan represented. The numbers as well.
And he can go. Shafiqullah. Obviously, look at that strike rate, 143. I tell you what, he hits it downtown, and he also likes to get underneath the ball and lap it. Oh, he's a very good lapper.
Dino. Stranga. Looking to go up and over.
Just thought for a second he might have got a little tickle on this. But let's have a little look here. I just thought for a split second there was a slight deflection there off the bat of Taranga. And that was the one to ramp it over the keeper's head. He's missed it. Yeah, good short ball. That's good bowling. If you're going to bowl a bounce to these guys, get it over leg side. They like to step away a little bit, cramp them up. Angelo Mathews pretty happy.
Big, wide open real estate there. So, too easy. So power play done and dusted. It's 32 for 2 here.
Pull the trigger! I'm the great Houdini!
Oh, a little Google start from Rashid. Yeah, saw this before. The wrist spinners getting a little bit of turn. This one actually got a bit of bounce too. Oh, yes. Adil Rashid will be liking what he sees with his first one. Bit of air. And take that! Says Shafiq, please. Straight away on the way. G'day, Butch.
Shafiq so chic. Freak out, sir. He's absolutely slotted this. Rashid just went a little bit higher, a little bit slower. Invited the stroke. Shafiq accepted. Well, run rate of 10 and a bit and over has been the way throughout 4 matches, the 4 completed matches we've had so far. Nobody has managed to top 11s for their 10. As though the Tuskers are going to need to do just that if they're going to keep the Bulls at bay. High ball. Real bovine feel to the contest. Tuskers and Bulls, and a lot of rutting going on.
Head butting. Ah. Hello, thrashing edge. That is a leading edge from Taranga. Look how quickly it got out to, I think there's Willey out there. Take one and be happy, and it's back to Sheikh, who, as Dean Jones was waxing lyrical, loves to go after bowling and hits it in all sorts of areas and is always in a hurry. Yeah. It's the timing there, Rashid. Where does he go now?
Ball.
It's lovely. That's that one again. More flight, and just say, go on. Dare you.
It was the straight one that fooled Shafiqullah. One to go. That's filthy. That's absolute filth from Adil Rashid. And sometimes, the worse you bowl, the better off you are. Just the 2 runs from the last ball of the 4th. It's 41 for 2.
Our work is so classified, the vice president doesn't know we exist.
Hello and welcome to you wherever you are in the world. Broadcasters taking our feed here from the Abu Dhabi T10 League. Very warm welcome to you. I hope you're enjoying the entertainment just as much as we are. Oh, nicked away. Here Khan, back in the old days, in another time, in another format, may well have had a slip there. Not in T10.
Yeah, a lifetime ago it would seem. 41 years young. It's left arm Indian grade with a knuckleball out, a little floater. Yeah, shade unlucky. Zaheer, good thinking. Not the worst execution, but luck for Taranga. I just wonder with the keepers scenario here at T10 and Zach, no spring chicken of course, almost stand up the stumps.
Yeah, probably a good idea actually. So Perera collecting that slow ball on the, I was going to say the half volley, but it was a long half volley. Through the gap. Managed to thread the needle there. Upul Taranga. Picks up a boundary. That strike rate is rollicking along. 210 now for the Sri Lankan left-hander.
Yeah, look at that wrist work, as ever. Subcontinent players, delightful.
Slow ball again from Zach. Diving effort from Angelo Mathews. Brings up the 50 for the Tuskers. Unsighted by the umpire. Will be kind to Angelo. Still get that Yorker in there, Zaheer can't. Fingers up behind the ball on that occasion. Remember at the end of the innings in 50 over cricket for India, spiking batsman. Ball hitting the base of the stumps. Such a skillful bowler, even now. End of the fifth, halfway then, 53 for 2, the Tuskers.
The king has done what he should not. He has married from another house, and a commoner at that.
Rashid into the attack. Khan was interested for a second down there at deep backward square. It's a bit of a lull in the game at the moment. 24 from 16 is the partnership between Taranga and Shafikullah Shafiq. Oh, it's gone up. It's gone up. It hasn't gone long. Oh, but it's long enough. Would you believe it? Chameera out there at long on has completely misjudged it and made a right royal hash of it.
Do not look back at the dugout, young man. He's not that young anymore. In terms of experience and knowing to be right back on the rope. He's come in and made the mistake. Oh dear. And for those troubles, I think he's just given himself a nice little clunk on the back of the Swede. His head. Ouch. It's easy, isn't it? Oh. David Willey. Yeah, does well. Oh, so frustrating from a bowler's perspective. Have long on do that.
Yeah, I suppose thinking about it in terms of you've only got 12 deliveries to take a wicket, to do something. Any chance how that goes begging, it's kind of, wow. Smashed back at Rashid. Your options as a bowler to affect the outcome of one of these games, so limited. Relying on the other 10 members of the team to help you out and take every catch, stop everything.
Just that little replay there, Chameera again with his fielding and the knee sliding into the turf. Wow, he's injury prone as Chameera. A little nasty, but no damage done. He seems all right there. Long off.
Ball.
Again, looking for the sweep shot. Shafiq mistimes it. In fact, the mistiming helped him out. that he could scamper back for 2. 6 gone, 65 for 2.
I'm not afraid to die.
And I'm not afraid to kill you.
After 6 overs, 65 for 2, Karnataka Tuskers.
Partnership of 35 from 21. Upal Taranga has 23 of those. Going along nicely without burying the Delhi balls. Need an injection of 6 hitting. Ross Whiteley, man slated to come in next, is somebody that can hit the ball out of any park. It might do the Tuskers a favour if Shafiqullah could hit out or get out at the moment. Another dot ball. Everyone precious for the fielding side. Let's get out to Ishika. Where are you?
Hi, we have Tom Moody with us, and this is your first match, and how are your preparations going on?
Yeah, it's been good. It was, I think, a good advantage for us to see the 3 games played yesterday. Gives us an idea of how the conditions are, how the pitch is played, even though this is a different surface. But, you know, it's given us a little bit of time to soak in the whole atmosphere and you know, what's been played out.
Yeah, you definitely have the edge. So you've been coaching all over the world for very different formats. How is T10 different for you?
I think it's really exciting. I was involved last year, and it was a real eye-opener for me from a coaching perspective. You know, what was very obvious was the very good players, the class players, were the ones that still stood up and managed to adjust to the shorter format. Proper cricketing shots, you know, clever bowling and good variations was always, you know, a good advantage. But, you know, I like it. I think it's certainly a sport or a format that's going to grow quite rapidly.
So are you really happy with the current situation?
Yeah, look, ideally it wasn't great losing a couple of early wickets, but we've recovered well, and I think we're poised to, you know, get over 100. So I hope we get one big over, if not 2, and we might push beyond 100.
So thank you, Tom. It was great talking to you. Back to the comm box.
Thanks, Ishika. Tom Moody there. Standing with his legs wide apart. He often does that in interview, Tom Moody, just so that he can get down to the level of whoever's interviewing him. How much the coaches affect the game beyond picking the playing 11. Seen large amounts of wickets fall, so beyond the number 5 batsman. It's not much of a role to be played by batters under that. Your 5 bowlers are incredibly important, obviously. Oh, he's got that. He's got a huge piece of it and has stuck it up there on the dirt bank. Chameera found length and found it wanting. Hello, Dan, you're back.
Yeah, g'day, Butch. I wasn't trying to sneak any food either. But this, talk about sneaking a 6. And striking it, well, let's call it 217. 6 and 5 fours Taranga. Wonderful striking here for the Tuskers, having been put into bat and wanting to post something decent to put the Bulls under pressure.
Tom Moody there talking about his eyes being opened by the T10 format last year. What do you imagine the coaches are getting up to that's any different? What sort of value are they adding in a T10 side?
Well, I think a lot of players talk about thinking on your feet, and I think also the coaches, because of certain pitches, type of bowlers. When do you pick guys to bowl? We've seen Fawad Ahmed bowling that 10th over. I think that's great. Wrist spin, pace off the ball, bag of tricks. Different with pace on the ball, like here with Chameera bowling this. So again, yeah, in terms of strategy, you can have some of that given the surface, but then you have to adapt and move with the situation quickly.
I'm also thinking that when it comes to your batting line, you've just got to get your big bangers in early. There's no point keeping people back to number 4 and 5. They very rarely get to play any part whatsoever, barring perhaps having to wander out there in the last over and keep a cool head. Oh, that's gone as well. Taranga is making Chameera pay the second 6 of the over. The 7th has gone for 17. It's 82 for 2.
Pull the trigger! I'm the great Houdini!
Well, your Dream 11 fantasy game scoreboard. Here in match 5, Upal Taranga has 50. His 46 from 20 deliveries is making him score big in match 5.
Ravi Rampaul. Bags of experience and bags of wickets. Let's call it 7.5 and over in T20. They're just starting a little bit of T10, but wonderful numbers from this West Indian.
Yep, 2 for 9 yesterday. 2 overs for 9, that is. Employed at the back end of the innings by Eoin Morgan. He'll do the same again this evening. Oh, the 8th and the 10th. Taranga just swivelling on that short ball, sending it over the fence. Tuskers on target here for 110 plus. Will they be the first side to breach the 110 mark? 2.5 overs to go. Rampaul with 11 deliveries out of those 17. Dead eye from Zaheer Khan at short third man. Hello, Dino.
Oh, Butch, I'm enjoying the commentary between you and Danny. I really am. Only 2 6s, 10 4s, and this is good from Zaheer, staying on the line. It's amazing a lot of guys, modern day players, creep a metre or so off that line. They need to stay on that line. The old pro Zaheer Khan doesn't miss. Didn't bowl too bad either. This is where he's good. This is where he's good, Sheikh. Mind you, he stayed on the line, but the mind wanted to get there, Butch, but unfortunately the body couldn't.
Here's Zaheer Khan in the game again. This time just couldn't put the turbo thrusters on and gather it in. Good from Sheikh. needs to find the boundary often now. He's going to be taking the strike away from Upal Taranga.
He looked to go again, Butch. He does that a lot. Shafagula played for the Paktoons last year and played very well too. Did very well as the skipper. As the keeper.
One of your boys.
Yeah, played very, very well. Good six-hitter. Amazing, strong hands. Hit it to all parts. And you couldn't read him. Sometimes you get a read on players, but a bit like a dog without a tail. You just couldn't read what he was getting up to. Down the ground. Is there two there? Yes, there is two if he runs. Oh, he didn't go. Oh, there's a run out. There's a run out. Confusing all round. You got one guy speaking Sinhalese, the other one Afghan. They didn't know what was happening.
Well, that is the end for Upal Taranga. He's been absolutely barbecued here. To be fair to Shafagula, Taranga never looked at him, didn't look up once, just got his head down and started running. A good gather in from Ravi Rampaul. A lot of work to do there. It wasn't over until he gathered in that throw. And Taranga with 48 from 22 going to make his solemn way back to the pavilion. It's 90 for 3.
I'm not afraid to die, and I'm not afraid to kill you.
Rampaul doing a good job here. The short, will it be a wide? We're looking to square leg. No, it isn't. That's a pretty good over in the scheme of things. Just 8 off. He's not happy. It's 90 for 3.
I'm not afraid to die, and I'm not afraid to kill you.
Ali Khan coming in to bowl his thunderbolts. He'll get away for one. They wouldn't have liked losing Upal Taranga. 48 off 22. Played really well. Good strike rate. Hit it well. Ross Whiteley, great strike rate. 144. Struggled in the PSL a couple of years ago, but he did play well in the first year of the T10. Oh, I'm waiting for Danny to go down with those guys to start to have a bit of a good time.
Yeah, just show them how it's done, right? I mean, they're really making enough noise or behaving like lunatics. Yeah, game-changing moment of the match. Taranga was going great guns. Shafagula, just no interest whatsoever in coming back. Probably argue that should have been the one to give up his wicket to Taranga.
Yeah, but Shafiq started to come, and then he just sort of, I'll put my head down, start running, and all of a sudden he gave it what we called the good old-fashioned Aussie barbecue. Got burnt at the stake. And it was yes, no, wait, sorry. A lot of sorry in there in Afghan. That'll be a wide there. Don't worry, all of a sudden, I know he's got 19 or 15, but he normally finishes very well. Looking around, scheming, trying to work out where am I going to go. He knows it's hard to hit sixes downtown, straight. There's a bit of a breeze for the north. Sees the third man up. He's maybe I could get one and ramp it down to third man. He missed an opportunity on the last one. He likes to invent stuff. Oh, good bowling. Oh, he'll get two. He'll run two off his own bat.
Oh, what are you suggesting, Mr. Jones? Khan's only going to get through one, possible two. Quite tough for a quick bowler to have to be out there, spring into action to bowl the penultimate over.
I really like this field to him because he likes to lap and get fours and sixes that way, but they've got the fine leg there to stop that. And that's taken out one of his major shots. I only get one here. So this is really good. It's just starting to get a little bit of reverse too in the ninth over. Ali Khan. There he is there. He just releases it beautifully. It doesn't sit the ball up from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. They like to release it, was it from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, that line there?
Yeah, slightly slanted, low arm, low release. A bit more margin for error when trying to get that Yorker in. Gets it in again. You need to against Whiteley. This was really well bowled. Ball to go from the over. He's gone for 6 in the ninth. And just slammed the Tuskers into a brick wall.
And he's only going to bowl one over. So he's not a great batsman, Ali Khan. So why hasn't he bowled two? Why isn't he bowled two? He's only going to bowl one here.
Well, you're going to have to question the World Cup winning captain Eoin Morgan on that one, Dan.
Maybe in the future, even T20 cricket, why couldn't a bowler bowl back-to-back and bowl one over for one end and bowl the next one? Why can't they do that?
Well, it's something like that going to be happening in England. It's called the 100. And that's not gone for 100, but it's gone for a 6. Terrific strike from Sheikh. What a way to finish the ninth. They needed it. Brings up the 100 as well. 102 for 3, 1 to go.
This is yours now, Henry. Your kingdom. And your wife.
Ravi Rampaul doing his stuff. He can weave some magic with the old ball, let me tell you. He knows how to manipulate that old ball beautifully. Here he is there doing his work. He likes to shine one side. It's good stuff, and he releases it beautifully. What about that for a shot? He is such a creative player.
Yeah, little inside-out slice. Tom enjoyed it.
Two's the call. And that was in English, not in Afghan. Just 3 off the over up to now. Oh, I beg your pardon. This is why he's so good. He just sits there and look at Tom's gone, what is that? He's such a creative player.
You know, the talent coming out of Afghanistan is just out of this world. It really is. For such a young cricketing nation. Guys representing their country in leagues all around the world. One thing they all have in common is an enormous amount of talent.
Well, he sized that. Now, I don't think he's got enough of it and he'll be out. Well caught on the boundary. Stirling doing the job. And he has to say, I told you at some stage you'll get this strike rate up from 115 to, well up to about 160. Really good knock.
Yeah, he's got the Tuskers up to the highest total batting first of the tournament thus far. In game 5, Tuskers have 109 for 4 with 2 deliveries to go, and it's largely thanks to this man, Sheikh, with 34 from 21. He has to go, but he's done a very...
Pull the trigger! I'm the great Houdini!
Ravi Rampaul trying to add the last finishing touches here. Another good over here. Just 8 off this last one. They get to 110 now. Is this enough, Mark Butcher?
Well, it gives them a chance, doesn't it? 11 and over required from the start. Comes the end of Sheikh. Nicely taken by the Irishman Paul Stirling out there at deep mid-wicket. Not before he'd done some damage.
I said coming in now. Last ball of the innings. Must just keep running and running until they get themselves run out. I keep repeating myself on this, but it's amazing. The players don't. And they just, for some reason, go to sleep.
And we had a tie last night as well, didn't we? So every run, absolutely vital.
Bowling straight through, you can't run on that. Well, you can, but you're not getting anywhere. Ravi Rampaul, what a great death bowler he is. He picks up 2, just 8 off the over as well. A really good performance by Ravi Rampaul. But to me, the Tuskers have done very, very well. 110 for 5. Teams now are starting to realise 100 is not enough. And it's Shah, the owner there in the blue. They'd be absolutely stoked there with that last wicket there, but it still must say, do you like to wear orange in this situation, or would you rather prefer to wear blue with this good score of 110 for 5?
It's going to stretch them, that is for sure. It'll stretch them. Brilliant from Ravi Rampaul. He's a master at the death. No wonder he was saved to bowl the 8th and the 10th. But Hashim Amla can afford himself a flicker of a smile. As the Tuskers will ask the balls to score at 11 runs per over in order to chase it down. Highest score of the tournament so far. Has Hashim Amla got the armoury to defend it? We will find out soon enough.
Oh, there it is there. They lost the toss, got sent in. Amla missed out sadly for him for 6. Charles, 13 off 5. Looked dangerous until Willey got a good short one at him. Taranga was outstanding. He set the innings up for me. 48 off 22. Sheikh was outstanding. Nice finishing touches from him. 34 off 21. 12 boundaries and 3 sixes. So that's 15 boundaries. That's pretty good in the scheme of things to finish up with a score of 110.
Yep, sure is, Dino. Yeah, bowling figures, well, Ravi Rampaul with 2 for 16, outstanding at the death. Zaheer got through 1 over, none for 12. And Ali Khan with none for 12. Let's get out to Karishma.
Thank you. With me, Adil. Happy with the score so far?
I think we set for 111. I thought it was probably a good pitch. They played well, but you know, anything is chasable in T10.
I mean, do you feel like your batsmen will be able to overhaul it?
Yeah, definitely 100%. You know, we've got class players in our team. class batters, and I'm confident that if we go to a good start, we can definitely knock it off.
And how is it for spinners in this T10 format?
That's exciting because sometimes you may bowl well, you could get for sixes, sometimes not so, you could get wickets. So it's a give and take, but that's part of the game.
I'm liking the accent. I sound very familiar. Thank you so much. I'll let you go. Thank you so much, Adil.
Thanks, Adil, down there. Delhi Bulls now, they required 111 runs off 10 overs at 11.10 runs per over.
To die, and I'm not afraid to kill you.
You're different.
Different from what?
You seem to be taking to the city well.
It doesn't always feel that way. I'm drawn towards something irrational.
I know that people tend to underestimate you. I do not.
I like how it feels.
Swiftest.
Sir, autograph please.
Abu Dhabi flight is ready for departure from gate number 24.
We're off to Abu Dhabi. You can catch the fastest cricket league.
10 overs, action-packed game. Cricket's new Alta, Abu Dhabi T10 League. Only on Sony 6 and Sony 10-3.
Sir, autograph please.
Is ready for departure from gate number 24.
We're off to Abu Dhabi. You can catch the fastest cricket league.
10 overs, action-packed game. Cricket's new Alta, Abu Dhabi T10 League. Only on Sony 6 and Sony 10-3.
Is Alda Abu Dhabi T10 League have posted the highest score of the tournament so far, 110 for 5. Excellent batting from Hippolyte Taranga, 48 from 22 for him. And Shafiq Shabikullah, 34 from 21 for the Afghanistani batsman, keeper. 1 for 23 for David Willey, 1 for 26 for Chameera, 2 for 16 for Ravi Rampaul, though managed to slam the brakes on the Tuskers in the final overs. Well worth if you're just joining us to catch up with the highlights.
David Willey, a little bit expensive. He bowled the first and third overs, but there was a big wild mow and got a bit lucky. He did early. Ash should be upset with that. He hit that right in the screws. Unfortunately for him, was well caught there by the Irishman Stirling, and all of a sudden they started to find the gaps a little. Things started to flow a little bit. They started to line them up, and what a lovely drop kick there by Charles. I thought things were away for them. They really were. Boundaries were coming with regularity, and of course now all of a sudden we're thinking of a good score of maybe around 100, 105. But then a good ball by Willey. Got it up high, up near the throat, and did the rest there. You don't drop them off your own bowling. And all of a sudden they started to hit some fours. Admittedly they only hit 3 sixes, but they got 12 boundaries here. Zaheer Khan, I thought he bowled pretty well, the old timer, still hasn't lost it. How about his work? Unfortunately, got hurt there a little bit. Adil Rashid. Well, he got smashed there, but another one. He'd be disappointed with that drop catch, the little things of the game. Geez, they know how to hit it hard. And that's one of the 3 sixes hit. Another good bouncer, and that carried all the way as well. And Sheikh, he played really well. Knows how to lap it. And Upul Taranga. He'd be disappointed with this run out, Butch, because he started to run. He thought he was coming in. It was a bit of a lazy yes, no, and oh, what have I done there? They both looked at each other, both didn't know what was going on. And that, to me, right there, was the shot of the match for me. Brilliant. That by a little bit of cleverness there by Shafiq, but then again, he tried the short one and quick back off big on him and well caught. So, tell you what, they got to a total, I think, that's very competitive. That's the last ball, nothing worse than getting out like that. Ravi Rampaul bowled really well, 2 for 16 off his 2. And I'll be pretty happy. They've got probably the most popular franchise in this T10.
Yep, a lot of support wherever they go for teams sporting the name of Delhi. They need the highest total to win in the tournament so far. 11.1 runs and over. The Tuskers have given themselves a shout of being the first team to defend a score this year's T10. Kusal Perera played one of the great run chases in Test match cricket down there in South Africa against a terrific South African bowling attack. Paul Stirling is an absolute stalwart of both Middlesex and Ireland and was in terrific form here in the recent World Cup qualifying tournament for Ireland.
Yeah, you talk about that knock. Many people call it in the top 5 greatest Test innings of all time. And so it should be. I was watching some of that from Australia and I just can't believe what he was doing.
No, it was astonishing, wasn't it? And then, of course, later on in the year, Ben Stokes does something similar, if not better. Extraordinary. 2 extraordinary knocks. 2 left-handers in run chases.
And none of them English. Chapour, the left-hander from Afghanistan, comes in. He's not English,
Dino,
is he, Stokes?
Dino.
You're pretty good, you guys. You guys right now for the World Cup. You've already your World Cup champions now. You'd be probably going around to all the countries and now trying to pinch another player or two, wouldn't you?
Listen, all that empire building in the centuries gone by, you're going to leave your mark everywhere, aren't you? It's for better or for worse.
Only
no wonder
for
people
worse.
like beating us.
Only for worse.
I mean, I pass off as West Indian, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Big single, they make it easy. But I have to say, of all the wonderful World Cup victories, it's probably the most... Did you really earn it? That's the big one.
Mate, we know where that trophy is. It's not anywhere near the MCG.
Very hollow feeling, I reckon, walking away from
I know what you mean. I mean, it must be terrible to be bundled out, having not turned up in the semi-final. It must be very hollow.
And I don't blame the English guys either. I just blame the administrators. It's just a stupid rule that came in, and it got to a stage where we haven't quite thought it through.
Well, you know what? That's exactly what I felt. I was sat at home watching it, and of course the ruling came up on the screen. And I'm thinking, you know what? They got to the end of one of these big meetings, and someone just threw it out there, and they all went, well, it's never going to happen. And they all packed up and went for lunch.
And you like a long lunch. Another single.
It's not lunch if it doesn't run into dinner.
Excellent, excellent. Great bowling, Shabura.
It's amazing in this great game that we play that the finals of World Cups bring up the most bizarre things that happen. We talk about the light in Barbados, the way that finished. Australia were dominant winners, of course, but it was just mayhem. We didn't know we'd coming back the next day or what was happening. The toss, of course, in India, 2011, had to be redone. When, of course, the World Cup has just happened with you. Amazing what's happened in World Cups.
You go back to India's win, 2011. Their first win, 1983 in England, where they beat the West Indies. Nobody gave them an earthly chance of beating that West Indian team.
Nor Australia in 87.
Against England, yeah.
Against England.
Like Gatting, the reverse.
Well, I feel sorry for Gat there a little bit, if I can say, because he's already hit 2 or 3 boundaries that way anyway for the match. And back then, the laws, the rules were different back then, because you could have 7 guys on the leg side. And a lot of the spinners were bowling down the legs and getting away with leg side wides. So he did it a couple of times and did very well. It's like in this format of the game, players have got to be creative, like Shafiq Ullah was brilliant today.
Well, you heard it first here, ladies and gents. Dean Jones being sympathetic of an Englishman in the World Cup final. Wonders will never cease.
It was brilliant to actually play in front of 110, 120,000 Eden Gardens and have 120,000 people supporting Australia. It really was. All the Indians just loved it. And I have to say, to get from the ground to our hotel, which is no more than 600 metres away, half a kilometre, it took us 3 hours in the bus to get there. And it was probably the 3 best hours of my life.
Yeah, mate, I feel sorry for the blokes who were on the bus with you.
Well, we'll talk about that more in a minute. End of the over, 5 for that loss.
This is yours now, Henry. Your kingdom and your wife.
Not fighting injustice or supporting injustice.
16 काफी dangerous है.
I will fight for us.
Ragni 16 की gang कौन सी? We must find out. Representative of cute outside, devil within. अगर नहीं सुने, नहीं बात माने तो shoot them.
Hello and welcome to cricket fans all around the world who are tuning in to our broadcast of the Dubai T10 League. Slashed away over cover. And Kusal Perera, uneventful first over. Poor Zadran yielding just the 5. Nathan Remington playing his cricket up north in Durham. You need a big thick beard up there, stay warm in the cricket season. One of yours actually, Dino, born in Australia.
Not one of ours, he comes from Queensland. They can have him. He's not Victorian. Oh, is there another player you've pinched now, is it? No? With all the cold pack players coming from South Africa as well.
His decision. He's qualifies by birth.
Picked a good county too. Love Durham. I was lucky enough to be their first overseas
That's
player.
right. I remember it. I remember it well.
Tell you what, it was cold there. It is cold there.
Yeah, the only time I ever played in the snow was up in Durham. David Boone was actually captain and senior player then. Good tradition of Aussie batters who went up to Durham to ply their trade. Just to test yourselves, really. Wanted to see if you could play in the freezing cold. Do it on a wet Tuesday in Durham.
Mind you, Derbyshire can be just as cold at times. I played in the snow there in '96, my first game there. It was the amount of travel. People do not understand how much the county players do by car. The A1 it goes from Durham all the way down to M1. Weeks it away. I don't know, that might go for a couple, it will. The A1, they don't know whether they're ripping it up or putting it down. There's so much roadworks there. Amazing. But the travel that you have to do as a cricketer in England is amazing. Good fun though. Best fun of it. You ever get the chance, for all those youngsters, ever wanted to play cricket, yeah, play for your country, do that please. Get the opportunity to play club cricket early, whether it be in Yorkshire or up at Lancashire or up at Durham, up north, is the best I think. Or get the chance to play for county cricket. It really improved your cricket big time.
Clipped away. Hands on heads for Remington, but it was wide down the leg side and probably deserved to go for 4. Stirling finds the boundary for the first time. It's a poor delivery. I'm not sure you can remonstrate too much, even though it didn't go exactly where Stirling was aiming it.
Notice he really collapses on that front leg on that delivery stride. Puts so much pressure on his knee and his hips and ankle. But he also puts some pressure on the off stump. A lovely change-up delivery. Come out so slowly. And the experienced Stirling, who probably hasn't seen a lot of Remington, didn't know some of the subtleties that he's got with his game. And Chapeau just having a word to him, so nice change-up delivery, well executed.
Yep, Tuskers' first strike. He said it was a slower ball. Rather persuaded the off stump to collapse into the turf. And Paul Stirling's got to go. 7 from 5 for him, it's 16 for 1.
The king has done what he should not. He has married from another house, and a commoner at that.
And the new batsman for Liverpool, Usman.
Pat Brown, his first over. Had a first taste of T20 international cricket with England just recently in New Zealand. Karishma, who have you got?
I have with me the one and only Zaheer Khan. Happy with the score so far?
Yes, the first match also, we restricted them pretty decently. I think 100 and anywhere around 100 plus minus 10, I think is good total. We have the means to get the total, and Eoin and Angelo has been fantastic in the previous match. We need partnership, of course. If you have a solid base, then yes, it's gettable.
And how is it for a spinner in a T10 format?
Well, wrist spinners have been a force in a shorter format. I think it's an asset to have. We also have that's a 6.
That's a 6.
We need more of that. Yes. But I think wrist spinner plays a huge role, especially for batsmen. They have to really be sure and pick the wrongman or the leggy. So yeah, that they've been making that impact in this format for sure.
And I also want to know, because I've asked this to the other players, is what do you think of the T10 format itself?
But the format is superb. I think it's fast paced. It's you have to be quick on the feet, and I think you got to have a good bowling attack also to defend, and that's what our team also has been focusing on. We got a lovely bowling attack to defend the totals as well, and restrict teams at a decent total so that our batsmen can really have a crack.
Well, it's great to see you here, and I'll be speaking to you shortly again. Thank you so much, Zaheer.
Yeah, Karishma. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Danny. Look, Zaheer Khan. A lot of people talk about how good Sachin was and how good Ganguly and Strava and DVS, all these great Sevak, all these great players. I tell you what, one of the major reasons why I'm #1 team in the world was because of that guy there, Zaheer Khan. He was absolutely brilliant, knocking teams over. He could swing it both ways. He really held the attack together, the enforcer. And he's hit this high in the air now. Is it a six? Be careful of the rope, and he takes it easy. He made it, well, I thought a difficult catch looked so easy. Johnson Charles out there doing the job. It was swirling, and honestly, that might be a Dream 11 game-changing moment.
Just never got going. Kusal, Perera, Pat Brown with the knuckleball from around the wicket. Perera rather scooped it up in the